Hi guys, this is Jackie from techjackie.com and welcome to another video on SEO. In today's video, I would like to touch upon one of the most discussed topic, especially for beginners, on whether on-page, technical or off-page SEO as to which one is the most important, right? So you've been doing SEO, or you've been learning about SEO, whether you learn about on-page, technical, or off-page. But I'm pretty sure that at some point on your mind, you must be thinking that which one you should basically focus or put more effort on, right? As to which one is much more important to Google, especially, right? But in this video, I'm just gonna talk about which one you should basically focus on, or which one is the most important, right? In simple answer, there's like these three are important, right? Like you can't really compare as to which one is much more important than the other, but it actually depends on from case by case, right? And first of all, on-page SEO, as basically deals with anything or any SEO optimization done on your own website or content, right? Technical SEO basically deals with all the technical stuff on your site, and off-page SEO includes all the signals which actually influences your website's ranking, right, outside your website. Okay, so out of all these, right, on-page, technical, and off-page, the least important is basically technical SEO, right? Because if you've done on page and off page well, technical SEO is pretty much you can pretty like avoid it. But in some cases is also very important. Like for example, if you're running a very big website with lots of content, right? You basically have to really focus on how you organize your site, or how you lay out your site structure, right? Something like that. In that case, your technical SEO may become quite important in that aspect, right? If you don't fix that well, you may face some problems that you may not improve your ranking as high as it should be, right? But basically, when it comes to Google, let's first understand the search engine's job, right? So search engine's job is to basically deliver the most useful content to the users, right? And notice the word that I mentioned the word content here. So when you talk about content, it basically means the wordings, or your articles or your web page, right? And all those are basically dealing with on page. So the majority of the time, on page SEO will be the number one priority, or number one most important as SEO thing, right? So let me just list them out. So priority, according to three types of SEO. Number one is on page, right? And number two should be your off page, right? Because besides looking at your content or the wordings on your website, Google will also looks at outside signal, right? Which is a kind of trust, and in order to justify that your content is really trustworthy, or really useful, right? So next, Google will look at your off page SEO, and third would be your technical SEO, right? Technical SEO. So, but this is just based on the priority. Like in some case, your on page may be least important than technical. Sometimes technical may be a little bit more important than on page. But basically on page will always be number one priority, right? Because if you understand the search engine job, that is to deliver the most useful content to the users, right? And off page will sometimes take over on page, or maybe on page will sometimes take over off page. It just depends, because you see search engine uses various signals, right? Is like, for example, for Google, there are over 200 ranking factors, and each signals have their metrics, right, accordingly. Like for example, Google may give like out of 100, let's say out of scale of 100, it may give mobile friendliness, let's say 1, right? And it may give let's say the HTTPS, or if your website is secure, maybe 0.5, right, out of 100, something like that. Like these signals are constantly being tweaked, right, with each and every of their algorithmic updates. So you should know that Google updates their algorithm very frequently, and for every time they do the updates, each signals are being tweaked right here and there, a little bit improved here, a little bit decreased there. And for every tweak of the signals, right, your web page, your ranking may increase or decrease. It depends, right? And that all depends on the on the queries or keywords that you're targeting. So this just based on the priority, but this hasn't really solved as to which one is really the most important. It actually, I can't really say that which one is the most important, but one thing that you can have a look is your competitors, right? Your competitors will determine how important each of your SEO factor is, right? So let me just show you an example here. Like for this case, this keyword, how to shave a dog with human clippers. Let me just toggle this as well, right, to show you the domain authority. If you look at the majority of the sites ranking on the first page, right, they have a DA of 30, 12, 11, right, 96. This is a medium website, right? So DA 28, 25, 32, 70. So you can see that this is a pretty normal keyword, right? Like not too competitive in terms of backlinks. So when it comes to off page for this particular keyword, right, it may not be as important. How about on page? You can have a look at the each of the websites, right, and see how they have written their content. So starting from this is pretty okay, right? How about this one? Very nice content, right, as you can see, with tables and lots of stuff going on here, right? Or even this one, very nicely written content, as you can see here. So for this keyword, right, as you can see, it has very less of the off-page signals but very high on-page signal, right? So for this keyword, your on-page may be deemed as more important than your off-page, right? And technical SEO will probably lie between here and there, right? Like technical SEO for a small website like this shouldn't be much of a of a problem. But as I said earlier, it depends on your website. If your website is very big, right, then you would need to really focus on that aspect. So in this case, on page is much more important than off page. How about for this keyword? SEO guide is a very big keyword, very difficult keyword to target. So if you have a look, DF99, right, the keyword is Google results. DF89, right, by Moz, 86, 62, right, 38, but 370 links if you can have a look. 75, right, 204 links. 7,502 links, right, 97 here. DF91, right, 1,326 links. So in this case, off page is much more important than on page, right? Because even if you have a look at the content should be pretty decent, right? Or if you think you can write better content than them, right, then you can try that. But obviously, if you don't have enough off-page signals or backlinks in this case, you can't really compete with the results for this keyword, right? Like for example, for this, you can have a look at maybe you think you can write better than this. Let's say this is 5,000 words article. You may think that you can write, let's say, 10,000 words, 50,000 words. But at the end of the day, if you don't have enough backlinks for this particular keyword, you won't be able to rank as high as you should be, right? So for this keyword, off page is much more important than on page, right? So that's that's a key takeaway from this video. And whenever you want to determine as to which type of SEO is much more important, you can have a look at your competitors, right, and see. And that's why I always advise anyone who do SEO or try to learn SEO by themselves that competitor analysis is one of the most crucial SEO technique that you should try to master, right? I have a link. I have done a video in my previous video where I talk about how to do competitive analysis or how to research your competitors. I'll leave in the link in the description so you can have a look at the video again, right? So that's basically all it is. Like there are two different things, right? Priority and importance. Priority is basically which one you should first give importance to. Obviously on page, right? Because as you know that search engines try to deliver the most useful content to users. And also on page is something which you have control over, right? It's your wording, is how you write the content or something like that. then comes the off page, and comes the technical, right? And that's pretty much it. But you see, like a little bit takeaway here as well, like, off page is something which still you don't have control over. So when you combine on page and technical, which you have control over, you may, outrank website with high off page as well, right? Let's say the majority of websites ranking on the first page have high amount of backlinks, but they have very poor on page, they have very poor technical. Then you can combine on page and technical and outrank website with high off page or backlinks, right? You can try that as well. It depends, because remember, search engines are using signals, and each signals are being change are being constantly changing all the time, right? So you can't really determine as to which signals are going to be more important than the other, right? So hope you find this video valuable. If you have any questions, feel free to leave the question in the comment sections, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.